is gene therapy and when we will go for gene therapy. So usually we will have certain hereditary disorders, or we will have certain genetic disorders. Okay, so at present there is no cure for genetic disorders. So with the help of gene therapy we can cure such kind of disorders because it is becoming a future medicine. Okay, so still these kind of things are still under development, but for some disorders it is proved. Okay, so here what is gene therapy? So if we talk from the perspective of gene therapy, in gene therapy what will we do? There will be certain defective genes. Okay, so defective genes. So in gene therapy what we will do, we will try to replace this defective genes with a healthy genes. Are you getting that? So if we replace the defective genes by healthy genes, then that condition can be cured, that condition can be corrected. So we are using the word therapy because we are replacing the defective genes by healthy genes. Okay, now if we talk from the perspective of this gene therapy, where we can use it, so in which cases we can use this gene therapy? Have you gone through? What are the various cases or instances where we can go for gene therapy? Any particular disorders which are mentioned, things have been mentioned in the document? Yes, for AIDS also it can be used. Yes. Yes. So usually it can be used. That means gene therapy can be used to cure certain cancers. So there are certain issues like cancers or certain things like heart diseases, or let's say we have certain things like, let's say, cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis, it is another medical condition. Okay, cystic fibrosis of lungs, cystic fibrosis of pancreas, or cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is the general condition which can be attributed to so many organs. Okay, cystic fibrosis of lungs or pancreas, it is the most common thing. For example, cystic fibrosis of lungs. What will happen in with respect to cystic fibrosis of lungs? In this situation, like patients will get more mucus with thick mucus, which will create some problems with respect to respiration. Okay, so mucus will become thick. So when mucus become thick, obviously it will obstruct the respiratory tracts. So that would be some issues like cystic fibrosis. Okay, in the similar fashion we also have some other disorders like diabetes, hemophilia, or AIDS. So in all cases we can use the gene therapy. Like for example, diabetes. So diabetes or hemophilia, so AIDS, they are all nothing but some of the common diseases that can be cured. Yes. Okay, so hemophilia, AIDS, so all of them are nothing but certain disorders which we can use for curing. Yeah, obviously tumor is a kind of like cancerous growth of cells. Okay, tumor is nothing but it's a kind of cancerous growth of cells. So certain tumors can also be cured. Okay, gene therapy, if we replace, why we will have cancerous growth? Usually cell will have specific growth pattern or production pattern. So in cancers what will happen? Uncontrolled and unregulated growth of cells will take place, so that they will go on producing haphazardly. So that's how it becomes like it becomes into a form of tumor. Okay, so if we are replacing that with, if we are replacing the gene responsible for that unregulated growth of cells, obviously we can just have that thing also. Okay, so that is one thing. So now if you see gene therapy, so generally there are two important types of gene therapies. Okay, so if you look from that perspective, types of gene therapy, there are two important types of gene therapy. So first type is nothing but the somatic gene therapy, somatic cell gene therapy, and germline cell gene therapy. Okay, somatic cell gene therapy and germline cell gene therapy. Okay, so what will happen with respect to somatic cell gene therapy? So in somatic cell gene therapy, what will happen? Usually there will be various cells that produce either sperm or egg. Okay, so those cells which will produce the sperms or egg, particularly such type of cells are known as germline cells. Okay, except these cells, all other cells which will produce the cells of other body parts. Other body parts, it can be any part, like it can be related to muscle, it can be related to brain, it can be related to heart, or it can be related to liver, any cell. Okay, such kind of cells are known as somatic cells. That means cells which can those cells which can produce other body parts except the sperm and egg. In simple fashion to say, they are nothing but the sperm and egg are nothing but they are the beloved embryonic cells. No normal the we call uh, we'll have gametes. Okay, in simple words we can use like gametes. Okay, gametes, sperm and egg are nothing but gametes. So those cells which can produce the gametes, they are called as germline cells, and somatic cells are other body cells. Okay, so here if we are trying to replace the cells related to somatic cells, so then it becomes somatic cell gene therapy. So if you are trying to replace the germline cells, that means those cells which will produce the sperm and egg, that means gametes, so then that would be known as germline gene therapy, germline cell gene therapy. So likewise, we have two types of gene therapies. Okay, so here this is also one of the potential therapy to cure certain untreated disorders.